Good morning, YouTube. It is April Fool's Day 2024. It is a Monday, and we are going to go over what sold on eBay this week. I did have a bunch of auctions this week, as well as some buy it nows that occurred. So let's dive in. I'm going to start with this still unpaid item. This was sold on the 24th, and it was an auction. Definitely expected more people to be in on this than this one person. So I started at $9.99 and it sold for $9.99. He hasn't paid, which might work in my favor, because I think shipping on this is probably going to be more than $10. I don't know. So, but these are actually, this is, I guess, technically pure profit if there is any, because these are technically blocks from my daughter's old Mega Blocks and Duplos that we've had for years. So these are just the more special pieces, not like the regular blocks. So I kind of figured it would do better. So if they don't pay, I may relist and then not be dumb and maybe put it up for a little bit higher as a starting bid. Who knows? But yeah, I'm losing money on this if this guy actually pays. I decided to throw these Barbie clothes up. Typically I can sell the lots for about $1 an item. And so this had over 80 pieces, so it should have sold for 80 if I had done a buy it now. I believe I started at a penny. People kind of bid. There's a little bit of bidding war going on, and it sold for 27. Not really excited about that. I mean, honestly, when you think about how much this weighs, most of these are from the Goodwill bins at $1.67 a pound. So I still came out ahead. It just didn't go for as much as I thought it would. So a little disappointed on this, but it's still profit. Here is a Build-A-Bear outfit. It is a Trolls outfit. I realized that I put huge time instead of hug time. Yeah, laugh it up. It happens. It was in great shape. It had the little outfit with the cute little poppy slippers. This was one of my mom's items that she found in the Goodwill bins, and what an amazing find because it weighed nothing, and she sold it for $34.99. This Under Armour men's shirt, new with tags, I had picked up at my local thrift store on their half price day. I want to say I probably paid about $3.50 for it. I think it was like $6.98. So paid $3.50. I've had it for a little while. It shows here. Oh yeah, it shows here that I listed it in January 17th. So I've had it for 2 months, but it finally sold for $29.99 with free shipping. This was a DVD that I found in the Goodwill bins. Had the case and the DVD itself for Sticks Return to Paradise. Didn't weigh a whole lot at $1.67 a pound at the Goodwill bins, and it sold rather quickly for $15.99. I went to a local charity sale, kind of like a church sale, and it was one of those where it started at $9:30, but you could pay $20 to get in at $8:30. I'd never been to this event, so I was like, all right, cool, let's get there at $8:30, pay $20 and see what's up. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff was very, very highly priced. So I didn't buy as much as I was hoping to, but I did get this little guy. He was in the $2 stuffed animal bins. He is the Lionheart plush from Care Bears. He did not have a tag that was readable, as you can see, but I did some research, and he was a Kenner, from what I understand by the look of his face. So I did put Kenner question mark in the title. I listed it, and I think it sold the next day, actually, for $32.99. So this was a good buy, good sell, actually. This is a little Lego keychain that I found in the Goodwill bins. So he weighed pretty much nothing. And I listed him and sold him at $9.99. He's the Blue Ninjago. Had some watchers on it for a while, and it kind of sat, but then somebody picked it up. I've had this since January as well. I've been knocking down the price, got it down to $9.99. It's a weight loss exercise binder, Provita Life Sciences. Since this was a book, I got this for 33 cents in the Goodwill bins, and it sold for $9.99. Here is a Squishmallow that sold relatively quickly within a few days. I think, let's see, 4 days. And it is Benny the Bigfoot. And he was in really decent shape. Sold for $9.99. Every now and then I find Arrow Garden products either at the Amazon return store I go to or in the Goodwill bins. For some reason, this plant food sells really well. It's interesting because with each box of seeds you get a bottle of these. And some of the packages with the seeds are like 10, $15. So it baffles me that people buy these, but I had 3 of them and listed them at $9.72 and somebody bought all 3. So I definitely saved some money on shipping there. So if this was, let's say it's 3 ounces, so it wouldn't have cost a whole lot in the Goodwill bins. This is a brand new sealed DVD of Mutual of Omaha's A Wild Kingdom. I do live in the Omaha area with the Henry Dorley Zoo, one of the best zoos in the U.S. And so I instantly knew what this was. It was worth some money. I believe I put this up for $21.99. I had someone interested in this and another item, which is next. And I did cut him a deal, so I think I put this one down to 15 and the other one down to 18 or something. Let me move over to that one and double check. Okay, this is the one I marked down to 15 and he bought the other one. So the guy bought this and the previous one, the zoo one. So I ended up making, 30 something bucks off these, and these were in the Goodwill bins, didn't weigh a whole lot. So this was good buy, good sell. Here are some Spider-Man, the regular red and blue Spider-Man along with the black Spider-Man for the Disney Infinity video game. I've been buying larger lots of these Disney Infinity characters because my kids just recently got into them. I have twins, so I need 2 of everything. And some of the lots, they had duplicates. And so these were, or in our case, triplicates. We already had 2 of each of these. So I went ahead and paired them up together and sold them for $47.49. This was an auction that kind of made me chuckle because I put this up last week for $9.99, free shipping, let it ride, and nobody bid on it. And that just kind of baffled me. So I was like, well, I'm doing more auctions this week. I'll just relist it. So then I relisted it, and I put in $7.99 for shipping, started at a penny, and it went to $11.50. So it basically sold for 20 bucks after it was literally available for $9.99 last week. But whatever. I don't know the algorithm. I don't know if it's just the right person at the right time, finding the right thing. But I'm happy that this went for 20. These I actually got at a fill a bag sale at a local church. So I really didn't pay a whole lot for these at all. Next item that sold, nothing very exciting here. This is a used Dyson attachment brush. And this I found in the Goodwill bins. Didn't weigh super much. I did list it as used. You can definitely see there's some use in there, but sold it for $9.99. This is a Build-A-Bear outfit. I listed this, let's see, in May of 2023. I have no idea why this sucker would not sell, but he finally did. I was so excited when I heard the cha-ching on my phone and I saw that this sold. This was my mom. She found these in the Goodwill bins. Doesn't weigh anything. Sold for $9.99. So there's a little story behind these. I had some of my O-Ball lots lotted together. I ended up with like 4 different lots, bigger lots for like $60, $70. And, I was just like, man, I don't know why they're not selling. They did used to sell really well as a big lot, but they weren't anymore. So I kind of looked up and I'm like, well, one of them sells for 7 something. I'm not even worth listing. So then I went through and I had so many duplicate items. So I started pairing things up and I listed them that way. And I had somebody interested in all of my O-Ball balls. So I cut them a deal. This is the first one. Let me show you guys here what went down. So that's the first one. And then he bought this one. And bought this one. Sorry, that is my phone. And I told him I had more. He saw I had a lot with 2 other ones, and he was interested in that. And then I also found 2 more, so I listed that as a private auction, and I did the 4 for $14.99. So they bought that this morning, so I have a box of O-Balls to send, and they don't weigh anything. So I got, $50 for several of the very, very lightweight O-Balls. This I had higher expectations for. I've had this for a while. I got it at a thrift store. I want to say I paid $3 for it. It had a damaged box, but it was still new. And I've had it listed for months. Got it down to $9.99, threw it up on an auction, figured if it didn't sell, it'll go to the flea market this weekend, and it sold for $9.99. I probably lost a couple bucks on this. Here's another of my Rainbow Friends plush that I get at the Amazon return store. This guy is in a little packaging. He's the blue one, and he sold for $9.99. One thing I'm trying to do in my storage unit right now, because garage sale season is coming up and that gets a little crazy, I have on my floor underneath all my clothes, I have these boxes of book lots. And so I'm trying to make some room, and these typically, so this is 23 books. This typically would sell in the $40 range for me. But for some reason, I put up for $19.99, free shipping, on an auction, let it ride, and it sold with one bid for $19.99. A lot of these I find in the Goodwill bins, 3 for $1. I find them at garage sales, thrift stores. So, I mean, I made some profit, but not as much as if I would have just left it as a buy it now. Then we have these little Madame Alexander dolls. I know the market's a little inundated with these. I was on the fence about grabbing them. But I'm like, well, it's like the whole wedding party, the bride, the groom, best man, maid of honor. So I went ahead and grabbed them. They were cheap enough. Figured worst comes to worst, throw them on my garage sale, put them on an auction, and ended for $9.99 with free shipping. Here is a pair of Jean Star jeans. Never heard of them. Brand new with tags, $40. Size 12 women's. Got these at a church sale for $8, and they sold for $9.99. This little girl here actually sold, but the buyer did send for a cancellation request, which was fine because I guess they bid, and then they asked me questions about it, and then they asked to cancel the bid, and I said, well, there's other watchers, so maybe someone will outbid you and you'll be fine, and no one did. So I went ahead and canceled this one, but this one's going to get pulled and go to the flea market this weekend. This is another situation where it went more than what I had it listed. I always pick up these Stephen King paperback books, especially the Signet ones. Those tend to do really, really well. They can be in pretty tough shape and people like them. I had this listed for $9.99 and it sat, and I was like, well, that's weird. It's Stephen King. Like, what's the deal? So when I went to do auctions, I went ahead and threw these on an auction, and 27 bids, $26. I wish they knew they were $9.99 a week ago, but that's what I mean. Like, you just don't know. I don't know the algorithm. I don't know the trick. I don't know if somebody's popping in looking for the right thing at the right time. But this did have a lot of action for auction listing, and yeah, so I did all right, especially considering a lot of these are Goodwill bins, so I had $3 invested in it. I found this cute little frame in the Goodwill bins quite some time ago. It's been listed for a while. Threw them up on an auction. It's a little Tigger frame, and if you push Tigger, he talks, and it works. So I went ahead and listed that as an auction to move it, and it sold for $9.99. This cute little guy got in the Goodwill bins, so didn't pay a whole lot. I figured I'd go ahead and run him if he didn't sell. He was coming to the flea market on Friday, and he did sell for $9.99, free shipping. I've had these sell better in lots. I test them all. Some of them, if they already have the battery in and they work, I just leave the battery in. Otherwise, if I test them and they work, I will pull the battery from those. So some have the battery, some don't. There's a dinosaur in here. There's sloths, there's monkeys, there's a unicorn. And this one I put on an auction. I started at $19.99, and that's what it sold for. I think in the past, though, I've sold these for maybe like a lot like this would have maybe gone for $30, $35. So, I mean, I still came out ahead. This was a disappointing sale. Ugh, I'm super bummed about this one. It had a ton of watchers, early bids. Like, I'm like, okay, you know, this is going to go wild. I mean, it's Paw Patrol. And it sold for $10.50. I think I just packaged this up a little bit ago. I think shipping was like $12. Most of these are from the Goodwill bins, though, so relatively lightweight, but I don't know, maybe I should have just pulled these and put them on the flea market, but I let them ride hoping that there would be some action, and there wasn't. And last but not least, I had these Carter pajamas. These were actually from my daughter, my younger daughter. She is 5 now and is growing out of these. So this is just personal stuff. Anyway, I went ahead. There's 12 jammies. They're all in clean, used shape, and they sold for $29.99. I think shipping on this was about 10. So I made a little money, nothing too exciting, but they had to go. I mean, they don't fit her anymore. So this is all I have for this week. It was relatively quiet outside of the auctions, which is okay because I have a lot of stuff to do before the flea market Friday that is out of town. I have the hotel room booked. I've got my mom watching the kids and taking them to the hotel to swim while I'm running the show. It's a Friday evening and Saturday flea market. Got a 10 by 20 space. I think I will fill that relatively easily. And so there's a lot going on this week. I would definitely let you guys know how the flea market goes. This is our very first one ever. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm nervous and everything in between. So thank you guys for sticking around and seeing what's sold on eBay this week. And I will be in touch with you next Monday.